Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Janice Cobham coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. Security Council considers nationwide ban on motorcycles mining activities. Federal government to spend 6.72 trillion naira on subsidy in 2023. Plus, Italian Prime Minister Draghi resigns after a week of turmoil. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us on the news at 4. We'll begin with a report that President Muhammadu Buhari has presided over a National Security Council meeting at the Council chamber within the Aso Villa in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. The meeting comes 2 weeks after a similar meeting held against the backdrop of the attack on Kuje Correctional Facility. Those in attendance at the meeting today included Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, the Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Gambari, and National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mungonu. Others were Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, and the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Isiaku Amau. Also in attendance were the Inspector General of Police, Alkali Baba Usman, the Director General of the Department of State Services, Yusuf Bichi, and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Rufai Abu, among other top security chiefs. Today's Security Council meeting comes a few hours after President Buhari condemned the murder of a Catholic priest, Reverend Father John Chetum of the Kafangchang Catholic Diocese. Meanwhile, the National Security Council is considering a nationwide ban on motorcycles and mining activities in the country as part of its strategy to curb terrorist activities, checkmate loopholes, and cut off their source of fundings. This was the outcome of the meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja. Addressing State House correspondent after the meeting, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, said investigations were ongoing to establish the correlation between mining and motorcyclists, which they suspect provide funding for the supply of arms to terrorists. Malami, who noted that terrorists had moved from the conventional ways of funding their activities to mining and ransom-taking, said the government was aware of the economic consequences of the proposed resolution, particularly the motorcycle ban. He said it had, however, become imperative in order to guarantee the nation's security. According to reports, terrorist groups, in particular in Nigeria, are increasingly interested in controlling areas of production of gold. And away from that now, the federal government has said it will make provision for subsidy in 2023 to the tune of 6.72 trillion naira. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, made this known in Abuja during the 2023-2025 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper public consultation. Ahmed said the government had projected fiscal outcomes in the medium term under two scenarios based on the underlying budget parameters and assumptions. On the legislature, the House of Representatives has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to address delays arising from instant bank electronic funds transfer services to find a lasting solution to the problem. This followed the adoption of a motion on a call on the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure swift fund transfer services in Nigeria by Mohammed Samsudin Bello. The House noted that via a curricula dated September 13, 2018, the CBN had issued a regulation on instant interbank electronic funds transfer services targeted at various payment platforms that seek to provide instant electronic funds transfer services in Nigeria. It therefore urged the CBN to make regulations with respect to the procedure channeling complaints of aggrieved members and mandated the Committee on Banking and Currency to ensure compliance. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the alleged lopsided recruitments by the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN), particularly the exclusion of Bayelsa State. Consequently, the House mandated its committees on federal character and public service matters to invite the head of service of the Federation and the managing director of TCN to explain the rationale for the alleged marginalization of an entire Bayelsa state and other states in an ongoing recruitment exercise. The resolution was based on the motion moved by a member of the House, Priye Useke, noting that the TCN was in the process of concluding a recruitment exercise in which over 400 applicants have been favorably considered. He, however, alleged that only a few of such successful applicants are from Bayelsa State, despite the very many eligible applicants from the said state. The lawmaker said, considering youth restiveness on the account of mass unemployment, this act of bias and uneven distribution of opportunities could negatively impact on the unethical conduct perpetrated by youths of the state. In the judiciary, the Federal High Court sitting in Akure, the Ondo State capital, has reserved judgment for August 30, 2022 over the case instituted by the senator representing Ondo South Senatorial District, Nicholas Tofo-Womo, against the former deputy governor of the state, Agboola Ajayi, over the senatorial primary of the party. Ajayi reportedly defeated Tofo-Womo in the senatorial primary held in Okitipupa town, local government area of the state on May 20, 2022. After the primary, Tofo-Womo approached the court seeking disqualification of Ajayi on the grounds that Ajayi allegedly involved in perjury and education scandal. The senator stated that Ajayi did not meet the constitutional requirements for contesting the 2023 general elections as contained in the Electoral Act 2022 as well as other relevant laws. However, the defense counsel urged that allegation of perjury against his client was unfounded. In education, Joint Admission and Matriculation Board (JAMB) and heads of tertiary institutions in the country have fixed the minimum cutoff mark for admission in the 2022-2023 academic session. At the 2022 policy meeting on admission presided over by the Minister of Education in Abuja, the minimum cutoff marks for universities is pegged at 140, while polytechnics and colleges of education have 100 as minimum. The Registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishak Oluyede, who announced the cutoff after votes by vice-chancellors of universities, rectors of polytechnics and provosts of colleges of education, said the implication was that every institution had the right to fix its own cutoff mark, even up to 220. And still in education, the federal government and labor unions clashed over the group's refusal to back down on its planned two-day nationwide protest scheduled for July 26 and 27. Reports say no fewer than 40 unions, including the aviation workers, will participate in the rally called in solidarity with the striking Academic Staff Union of Universities, which has shut down public universities since February 14 over the failure of government to meet its demands. The Minister of Information, Culture and Lai Mohammed has, however, said the protest was illegal since the Nigeria Labour Congress had no pending disputes with the government, but the Congress reported that it would go on with the protest saying the freedom to protest is guaranteed by the Constitution. And away from that, now Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority has suspended Dana Airlines air transport license and air operator's certificate indefinitely. NCAA Director General Captain Musa Nuhu announced this in a statement, saying the suspension of the operations of the airline would take effect from midnight of July 20. The NCAA chief explained that the decision was the outcome of a financial and economic health audit carried out on the airline by the authority and the findings of an investigation conducted on the airline's flight operations recently, which showed that Dana Airlines was no longer in a position to meet its financial obligations and to conduct safe flight operations. According to him, the suspension order has since been communicated to the management of Dana Airlines. In politics, Tinubu campaign organization TCO has debunked reports making the rounds that fake bishops were hired to attend the unveiling of Kashim Shettima. Recall that the All Progressive Congress APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu unveiled Kashim Shettima, a northern Muslim, as his running mate, and controversy surrounding the same faith ticket. The event had the presence of some unpopular Christian clergymen and women dressed in cassock-like Catholic bishops, whose footages are currently trending on all social media apps. However, in a move to clear the air, the TCO, through its Director of Media and Communication, Bayo Onanuga, said the bishops were not hired. According to him, the clerics are patriotic Nigerians who believe in the unity of the country, stressing that they, bishops, are not big names in the Christendom yet, but coming up. In the meantime, Bayelsa State government has finally opened up on the real status of the state-owned international airport following insinuations that the facility had been downgraded and abandoned by the government. The government claimed the absence of scheduled flights to and from Bayelsa International Airport for a couple of weeks was not the fault of the state government, but technical issues with two airline operators, Ibom Air and United Nigeria, which were carrying out major maintenance checks. Deputy Governor Lawrence, who gave the clarification while speaking with journalists, noted that the state government was in touch with the management teams of both airlines, giving the assurance that flight operations would resume at the airport before the end of the month. In another development, Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has ordered the dismissal of some civil servants for receiving double salaries from the state government. Akeredolu gave the order while receiving the report of the Committee for Verification and Cleanup of the State Payroll. The governor also directed all ministries, departments, and parastatals in the state to stop recruitment under any guise until the Salary Verification Committee has concluded its assignment. Earlier, the chairman of the committee, Victor Olajori, explained that the first and major step taken by the committee was to contact the various services, including the Teaching Service Commission, Hospitals Management Board, and Local Government Service Commissions, among others. Still to come in the news, Rivers United players get $20,000 each for winning title. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned now to the rest of our stories. Moving now to Africa, where the former ruling coalition in Sudan, the Freedom and Change Declaration Forces, have announced that they will form a broad front against the tribal clashes that have led to the death and injury of dozens of people in the country and the hate speech behind them. The leader of the group announced that they will organize demonstrations on 24 July in Khartoum and many cities under the name of One Homeland Sudan to protest the violence between tribes. The announcement comes shortly after a massive protest in Khartoum when police fired tear gas grenades at hundreds of demonstrators who were holding up banners saying no to the killings of houses. Reports say the clash was over access to land that violence broke out last Monday between the Hausa, one of Africa's largest ethnic groups present from Senegal to Sudan, and the Baptist clan in the Blue Nile bordering Ethiopia. On the foreign scene now, Mario Draghi has resigned as Italian Prime Minister a year and a half after he was appointed as the country's unelected head of a unity government. He told President Sergio Mattarella he was standing down after 3 parties in his government refused to back him in a confidence vote the night before. The president asked him to remain as caretaker leader, and early elections are expected this autumn. Far-right leader Giorgia Meloni is already being tipped to win, and 74-year-old Draghi was a popular choice as Prime Minister, dubbed Super Mario for his handling of the Eurozone crisis as head of the European Central Bank. And elsewhere, Sri Lanka's Ranil Wickremesinghe has been sworn in as a president amid hopes that he will put the country out of its economic suffering. The 73-year-old took his oath at the tightly guarded Parliament complex. Ranil Wickremesinghe, the former Prime Minister, is seen as a deeply unpopular with the public, but some protesters have said they will give him a chance. Sri Lanka has seen months of mass unrest over an economic crisis. European Central Bank has raised interest rates for the first time in more than 11 years as it tries to control surging Eurozone's inflation. The bank increased its key interest rate by 0.5 percentage points to 0% and plans further hikes this year. The rate has been seen negative since 2014 in a bid to boost the region's economy after years of weak growth. However, consumer prices rose at a record 8.6% in the 12 months to June as food, fuel, and energy costs soared. This is reportedly well above the bank's 2% target. In our business news, bankers under the aegis of the Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria have announced plans to halt production of their products effective today. According to a statement signed by the president of the association, Emmanuel Onora, operating a bakery in Nigeria has become almost impossible as the incessant increases in the prices of baking materials and diesel have affected the industry negatively. The statement said in a move to ensure the survival of the premium bread-making industry in Nigeria, they will embark on strike beginning from Thursday, 21st of July 2022 for 4 days in the first instance, and where there is no intervention from the government, they will escalate the duration of the withdrawal. According to Onora, the reasons for the strike included an incessant increase in the price of baking materials, federal government's 15% wheat development levy on wheat imports, NAFDAC's 154,000 naira penalty charge for late renewal of certificates, the inability of its members to access grants and soft loans being given by the Central Bank of Nigeria to micro, small and medium-scale enterprises, and multi-agencies regulation of the bread-making industry. In health, the Enugu state government has targeted about 1 million children for free drugs medical consumables, and other routine services in its ongoing maternal, newborn, and child health week program. Reports say the program is also designed to reach out to 280,000 pregnant women when they attend antenatal programs in health facilities scattered within the state. Inaugurating the program in Enugu, the wife of Enugu State Governor Monica Ugwain urged pregnant women to take attendance to antenatal seriously. She also enjoined them to ensure they carry out necessary tests, noting that the test would afford pregnant women the chance to easily detect when pregnancy complications were looming. And in sports, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has rewarded Rivers United players with $200,000 each for winning the 2021-2022 Nigeria Professional Football League title. Wike made the announcement at a grand reception organized for the team in Port Harcourt. The Port Harcourt Dwellers won the title for the first time after warding off the challenge of Plateau United. The club's forward Chijoke Akuneto also emerged top scorer with 19 goals. And still in sports, Super Falcons players reportedly boycotted training due to unpaid bonuses ahead of tomorrow's 2022 Women Africa Cup of Nations third-place match against the Copper Queens of Zambia in Morocco. The team is demanding to be paid a bonus of at least $10,000 each for their run at this year's WAFCON in Morocco. Reports say by their agreement with the NFF, a win in the group will earn each player $3,000, while a player will also be paid $4,000 for victory in the quarterfinals. The nine-time African champions won 2 group games against Botswana and Burundi to give each player $6,000, while the 1-0 win over Cameroon in the quarterfinals guaranteed a player $4,000. However, Tony Bitoye, Special Advisor Media to the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, responded via Twitter to insinuations that the ministry was yet to release funds to offset the Falcons' allowances. In our entertainment news, Showmax original talk show and trending gist from the Big Brother Naija show, The Buzz, has been renewed for a new season. The streaming service confirmed season 2 of the show in a video featuring Toke Makinwa. The media personality returns as the show's host with the promise of exciting moments, guests, and all the spicy hot gist from the reality show's new season. Recall that BB Naija's The Boys launched last year with season 6 of the reality show. New weekly episodes featured celebrities taking rounds to analyze the housemates. A selling point for the show was its exclusive access to on-air diary sessions. This year's Big Brother Naija season is set to commence with a 2-day opening show, which begins from Saturday, July 23 to Sunday, July 24, 2022. And that's all we have for you on the news at this hour. Do make sure to follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube page, all of which you can find at spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching the news at 4. I am Janice Cobham. Do have a great day.